All right, things I should have said. Oh, this. I'll tell you right now. This segment is blowing up. Things I should have said. We've all been there. Something happens, right? You're shocked. The moment passes. It's too late. And then as you're driving home, a year later, 2 years later, getting on your deathbed, you're like, you know what I should have said? I saw one of those moments. I was watching, my wife had on the Kardashians. I've just quit. I've tapped out. I'm like the Maple Leafs, okay? I'm up 3-1, and I finally just said, you know what? I'm not going to, I don't give a fuck. I'd like my summer vacation to begin now by just having not thinking and just let you just roll over me. So now I'm watching the Kardashians, and I got to tell you something. The American Psycho-looking dude, Scott, first of all, I got to respect that man's drinking game. He got shit-faced with one of the Kardashian brother. They were pounding drinks. And he got absolutely hammered, and he just went off the fucking rails and was doing like a stand-up set, shit-faced, just trashing everybody, trashing this woman. Hey, sweetheart, don't look at my cock. Look at his cock. He was wearing a robe. He was out of his fucking mind. It was tremendous. It was tremendous. Until he was shit-faced that night, and he was telling this old waiter to shut the fuck up, and he took a $100 bill and stuffed it into his mouth. And the waiter didn't swing on him. He didn't say anything. You know, he's a fucking working the Kardashian VIP thing. He's working his tip. He's probably thinking, I got too much. Yeah, I'm thinking I got too much to lose. And that's the moment. The people who have nothing to fucking lose do not have, you know what I should have said? They could have a segment going, you know, I shouldn't have said that. I shouldn't have done that, right? So this fucking guy. So I had a ton of empathy for that guy. He's out there busting his ass, and that fucking drunk asshole, you know, belittled him. And the second I thought that, I was like, I know exactly what that feels like, that guy getting that money stuffed in his fucking mouth. I know exactly what he's going to be. Why didn't I fucking punch him? It's going to make him hate himself. But we've all been there, which is the purpose of this fucking segment. Things I should have said. Number one, hey, Billy Bagpipe. I like that. That's a new one. I listened to the recent podcast and thought of the worst things I ever blurted out. Well, that should be things I shouldn't have said. Jesus Christ, you guys are like me. You don't even listen. All right, I'll read it anyways. It was kind of funny years later, but still pretty stupid. I was in high school in the early 2000s. I was heavily bullied. One day, during math class, an announcement was made that everyone from my gym class had to report to a lecture hall. I had no idea why, and later found out it was because someone stole money. As I stood up to leave my math class and report to my lecture hall, my annoying bully classmates started asking why and making jokes at my expense. I got sick of it and said, we all bombed the school. Oh, boy. I was pulled out of my next class after math by a social worker. She started asking me about my home life. Oh, God, now it's your parents' fault. Because of what I said. I explained that I was joking, but she said it was a big deal and she would have to talk to my mom who was picking me up. I started crying. Oh, God. And then you cried on top of it. These are the things. These are the stories that all great men have. This is what we're all running from. These moments. This is what we're compensating for. You started crying. I've been there. Because I was afraid of being grounded. I was, in fact, grounded for a month, which is plenty of time to learn how to build a bomb. What are your parents thinking? The next day, my principal told me I would either get 3 days in school suspension or 5 days out. I chose out. I like that. I like that decision. There you go. There you go. He said I was not getting an expulsion hearing because I had no past behavior issues. He was also like, I also don't want to have to fucking, look under my car every time I start it up and change my routine of how I go home. That's what the principal's thinking. If I said this now, I probably would have been expelled. Definitely do not recommend saying the B word in a public place for any reason. Hope to catch you in a city near me soon. Okay, people, this is like things I should have said. But if you want to say things I shouldn't have said, we can do that segment too. I'm easy. I don't give a fuck. I'm watching the Kardashians. I don't give a shit anymore. I've completely sold out. All right, number 2. Dear Billy eats too much cake, bitch tits, Burr. Well, that was just, too long to be funny, but, just enough detail to be mean. All right. Hey, hi, I am 28-year-old male. 28 years old was the last time I had abs. And I'll tell you right where I lost them. I went to that Carney hot dog fucking train car, and I went in there. Somebody goes, have you ever tried chili cheese fries? And I said, no, I have not. And I ate those fucking thing, and my belly has been distended ever since. But they were delicious. Speaking of which, I went back there yesterday, or 2 days ago, because I was hungry. I needed something quick, and what's better than a hot dog? Quick, right? And they had the Red Baron, old Freckles. Old fire engine Red Freckles got the Red Baron. It was absolutely delicious. I got one. It was perfect. And shout out to them. All right. Anyway. Hi, I'm a 28-year-old male, and I have a what I should have said story. A few years back, I worked with a girl, and because of the laws of proximity and horniness, we started dating. Both our jobs conveniently started ending at the same time, so we were both looking for jobs at a similar time as well. I found a job pretty quickly while she went through interviews. Finally, after a few months, she found a pretty awesome job, and they hired her. Good for her, right? Well, little did I know she would turn into a total cunt, because power and psychopaths mix like coke and booze. Did she meet a new guy at the job, I'm guessing? Well, we traded stories about our new job, and she constantly one-upped me. She even would brag about how she was making more money right to my face. Oh, God. There we go. That's a great one. This is what feminists would say. Well, you should be strong enough. You should be strong. It's like, well, if a guy was making more money than you and he threw it in your face, would you enjoy that? That's different. Why is that, hairy leg fucking person? Because it happened to me. All right, one day as the relationship was ending and I was finding self-respect again, we were riding in the car and she was being cunty as usual. She blurted out, I always tell my coworkers that if they ever need me, my door is always open now. Now, at the time, I didn't really respond because I still wanted to bang her, but this made me lose it on the inside. Literally, as soon as she got out of the car and was out of earshot, I said to myself, well, bitch, you work in a fucking cubicle, so you don't have much of a choice. It was just the last straw in a series of ridiculous bragging from her. Anyway, I think about that at least once a month. I kind of want to call her just to say it, but fuck it. Water under the bridge, I guess. Yeah, dude, it is. That, and you had a great line, too. I mean, dude, if you did that right then and then broke up with her on top of that, there's a reason why that happens in movies. Because it's a movie. It's not real. To fucking be able to do that in real time. I remember one time I was on this, I think I've told this story before. That's all of my stories at this point when you do a podcast solo for the better part of fucking 2 decades. I did this trip. It was me, my brother, my grandmother at the time. I know. We were great grandkids, okay? She was alone at the time. We said, hey, we're going to go see the Southwest. Why don't you come along with us, right? So we'd take her to all the tourist sites during the day, and at night, me and my brother would go out and get ripped. You know, we had a great fucking time. So anyway, but we brought her along, Grand Canyon and all of that shit. So at one point, we went into some fucking restaurant somewhere around the Grand Canyon, and we went in there, and there was some fucking waitress, and she fucking hated her job. And she was it was so, I look back to it now, it was almost like an SNL character. And she was just going like, she was like, can I help you? Would you like anything to drink? Like she was talking to us like that, right? So finally it came around to me, and I just go, yeah, can I get 2 eggs over easy, some bacon, and some toast? She goes, what kind of toast? And I go, white toast, right? And it got real fucking quiet, and she glared at me. And I glared at her for half a second, and then I looked away because I was like, it's just going to be, I don't even know why. I bitched up. I looked away. But when she left, I remember my grandmother was very proud of me. She you know, her old fucking, you know, lived through the Depression grip, grabbed my hand. I go, is that too much? And she goes, no, her attitude is terrible. Oh, her attitude is terrible. Because she came up in the time when the customer was always right. But then I'm not going to lie to you, man. I kept my eye on her the whole time when she was making my toast to make sure she didn't fucking spit on it. But that's the closest I think I ever came to in real, before I became like a comedian, and I can do it on stage just because that's what you have to do. I learned to do that, but still off stage, I still don't do it. I still don't do it. I can definitely like, do a tirade of F-bombs, and then make whatever the other person just did pale in comparison to whatever the fuck I just said. I'm not talking about not being able to. I've done that. Because of this time, I can't even say what the fuck I said. But this guy, I'm going to tell this story at some point. I'm just going to tell the story. But I have to tell it to someone who's gay. What I said to this guy in a crosswalk that I almost ran over because I didn't see him, and I tried to apologize to him, and he wouldn't have it.